some stuff in the write-up. Now in the presentation, I have changed few steps. Few stuffs I have changed.
Oh yeah, sure. In your slides.
No? Yeah, Durga, we are live now. Okay.
Yeah, a very warm good evening to everyone
good
present.
evening.
Yeah, good evening to everyone present. So right now I would like to share the screen.
Good evening, Dr. Shamima. And it's very nice to have you here with us. So, Anajori is a non-profit platform where speakers from different areas are invited to motivate the youth of the Northeast and to create social entrepreneurs. So today our special guest was supposed to be Dr. Chiranjeev Kakuti, but he has been caught up due to the COVID situation. I know it's a crazy time for doctors. So we are very glad to have with us Dr. Shamima.
Even today we have one of a doctor from GMCH passed away, one ophthalmologist, associate professor. He passed away today. Just after, just one night he was having fever, cough and cold, and then he passed away.
How come he passed away? Just
it was acute respiratory distress now, because this thing brings about I'll talk about it later on. Let me just come up to it from the starting. Let me just go through it. Okay?
Yeah.
Then you will come to know actually what is the thing. See, people are saying that when summer will be there, corona will go. Many people have predicted that way, but
Shamima,
it's not.
Why don't you start at like what exactly is
coronavirus? Yeah. I'll just start it. I'll start with the presentation. I hope you are able to see my presentation.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You can see that.
We are able to see. Yes.
Okay. First of all, what coronavirus is? It's definitely, everybody comes to know by the name itself that it's just a virus. Okay. But the thing is that there has been many viral infections backdated. There has been many viruses like HIV virus infection, Ebola virus infection, many deadly viruses. But this virus, what is it's happening is each time when its transmission is going on, it's mutating. Do you get my point? And each time it's becoming more virulent. The form is becoming more virulent, more effective to humans, more deadlier actually. Before it was like patients who like the patients of elderly group, like 60s plus, with underlying comorbidities. Comorbidities meaning hypertension, diabetic, chronic liver diseases, chronic kidney diseases. They get infected to it earlier because their immune system is already low, and earlier they drain off. They cannot struggle with the virus because right now there is no proper cure to the virus. What we are providing is only symptomatic treatment. There is no proper treatment to the virus. But now the virus has come to such a virulent point that even the patients with 20 years of age, 30 years of age are being affected, and the saturation level is coming as low, and then they are passing away. Okay. Pardon? I cannot hear. I'm not able to hear you, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. So you said, Dr. Shamima, that there's no treatment. I
want
to again clarify to everybody, because sometimes, people say, oh, there is an Ayurvedic cure.
No.
Other special tablet, but there's
as of now, with all the predictions, with all the whatever has come into view, till now there is no proper treatment to this virus. What we are giving is only symptomatic treatment. This is very sure. Like we are even giving steroid therapy, because at last we come to steroid therapy. We are even trying to do that. Like, see, sorry, when we are having chicken pox, that is also a kind of virus. I hope you all know about that now. What we all do is we all give symptomatic treatment only. We don't have a proper thing to it. Or we take vaccination because vaccination is available for chickenpox and all, na? But for this virus, we don't have any kind of vaccination. We don't have any kind of proper treatment up till now. People are undergoing various researches, but there is no proper thing. Na? Right now, there is nothing available in the market for this virus. So let me proceed.
Thank you for clarifying that. Yes.
Yeah.
People
What?
are hoping that there's something.
Yeah.
It's good to
What?
hear that there's nothing.
Yeah, there is right now. Yes, one thing is there to build up our immunity, to build up a good immune system. We can definitely take various things. Like what I am doing is I am regularly from not from today, from the time the coronavirus outbreak was there, from I think from Feb itself, I have been regularly taking vitamin C tablets, vitamin B tablets on a regular basis. I'm doing proper exercises. I'm taking red tea with honey and ginger. What these things do is these things build up a proper immunity to fight with the disease. But these are not treatment modalities. These gives us only immunity. Okay. Yeah.
That's the best we can do.
That's the best we can do right now. For girls, yeah, it gives proper glow also to the skin. Okay, what coronavirus exactly is, although it's a medical definition, still I want to say it's a group of RNA viruses, okay, which causes diseases in mammals and birds. In humans, this virus causes respiratory tract infection. As I have said, it directly affects our lungs. Saturation level of oxygen comes down, means people are not able to breathe in oxygen. And what happens because of that, the carbon dioxide level in our body raises higher. Due to that, what happens? Carbon dioxide narcosis is there in the body, and thereby the patient collapses. And what causes it is severe pneumonia. Firstly, there will be fever, there will be cough and cold, and later on, there will be pneumonia. Seeing the CT or the X-ray of the lungs, you can make out properly. Is the patient affected by coronavirus, or he or she is not affected? Am I clear?
Yes, Dr.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. When should a patient, press the alarm bell? Like, is it as soon as he or she starts coughing?
As soon as he or she gets any kind of symptom. Right now, what we are getting information from Guwahati Medical College is that the people who are even, the people who are even like not giving any symptoms, even they are, within 2 to 3 days, their saturation level is coming down, and thereby they fail to live. So we cannot predict anything. We should better the moment we get a symptom like fever, cough, cold, we should get the test done, and then we should take the medications, symptomatic medications which is available. So should I proceed?
Yes, ma'am. You can.
Yeah. So history, like, see, the coronavirus actually earlier, it was due to the mutation between bats and snakes, which people before earlier, what happened just after the outburst of coronavirus, everybody predicted that the Chinese people had something mutated between the snake and the bat, because of which this virus has come into view. But that was history. Okay, but this virus is a more virulent form, and we actually don't know the origin of this virus. Passing on, talking about the infection in virus, there are various forms. See, coronavirus significantly is a risk factor. Some can kill more than 30%. Some, as I have said, the more it's mutating, the more its transmission is going on, the more virulent form it's giving. Like COVID-19 is a strain of coronavirus. Okay, it is not a classification, or it's a strain, it's a trend of coronavirus. Actually, in layman terms, whatever I'm talking is in a layman term. I'm not talking in a medical point of view. Okay, because I want everybody to understand the seriousness of this disease. directly it affects the lungs. First of all, whenever a person is having any kind of infection, the first symptom which we show is fever. The moment there is fever, we should go and we should take a test. If not swab test, there is a test called as um, RT-PCR test. Okay, that test will definitely give you a clear result. It's not false positive result, because now what is happening is, people are also scared that everywhere the false report is going on, but the RT-PCR test never gives a false report. Okay, so these are the few types of coronavirus. So should I proceed from this slide?
One question, Dr. Shamima.
Yeah.
There's talk of community transmission, and they're saying that cases are really spiking in Assam.
Yeah. Right now,
community transmission in Assam.
Yeah, definitely. See, the minister, like the political scenario in Assam is very bad now. They will never say that there is community transmission, but there is community transmission because various doctors which are using proper PPE kits, personal protection equipments, proper mask, everything, proper hygiene, even though they are affected. So how will you say that it's not community transmission? What I think that it's going on to the thing is going on to a more riskier level. It's airborne. It's becoming airborne. What I was going to say, it's becoming airborne.
That is another confusion, Dr.
It's becoming. I don't know. There is no research or there is nothing like approval of it. But what I am thinking that it is airborne. Me personally, I'm getting very scared of treating patients, but I have no other way out. I have to treat patients because I work in a hospital. So what my seniors are saying, that if there is an emergency, you have to treat them, because dental pain is such a pain which is not bearable. People cannot bear. Frankly, I'm saying during this time also people are coming with severe pain, and the psychology of the people are affected so badly that even the strongest antibiotic is not working, and I have to give I'm required, there is requirement to give intravenous infusion. Trust me, that is the situation now, because psychology of the patient is also causing release of different kind of hormones, and those hormones are not letting slow transmission of antibiotics to go into the bloodstream. So direct infusion I have to give. That is the level of psychological disorder also which is happening in between the community of the people.
Stress, is it again because of the COVID situation?
Definitely. Me myself, I'm affected. I am a patient who is affected by this coronavirus situation. I am in a hell of a lot of stress because every day I'm going to the hospital. There is a great requirement for me to be alone with my patient. My parents. I should not stay with my parents, although my parents are like, they're elderly. They have underlying diseases also. But how many days will I stay away from them? I stayed in quarantine also. I tried staying apart from them, but how many days will I stay? That is the question. How many days will this thing stay? Right now, Bharat Biotech Pharmaceuticals has gone through a trial. The trial of the vaccination is going on, but till now, the trial is not over. That is true. That information is partly true, that the trial of the vaccination by Bharat Biotech is going on. So
I can imagine what you're saying, and I think you just said what almost everyone is going through, the kind of psychological stress.
And because of the psychological stress, other problems are also coming up. Other problems are also coming up. And what problems, I'll just say you, like what I have gone through this time. Many patients are not getting proper treatment. Number one, supposedly they are having other problems now. Like my mom, she is diabetic, she is hyperthyroidism, she has slightly this thing, lipotriglyceride level is slightly low and high, but till now she is not getting her test done. She cannot go for any like this thing, a doctor visit, because every 3 monthly she does her routine checkup. But because of this COVID scenario, she was not able to do her routine checkup, and because of that, what has happened, before the thyroid TSH level was higher, and she was having a higher dose of the medicine Tylenol, but because of this situation she could not do the test now, and her thyroid level has gone lower than the normal, again because of which she is having this thing, her blood pressure level is fluctuating. So this is the problem patients, if this is the situation in my home, just imagine there are many patients now who are not able to come to the hospitals. Some are afraid, some people are even scared that they will get COVID infection, and because of that they are not coming to the hospital. My grandmother, she is having severe dental pain. She is also diabetic. She is a chronic kidney disease patient. She is hypertensive. She cannot go to the hospital because she will catch up the disease faster now. And due to the immune system which is not working properly, although already she has underlying comorbid diseases, she might have a deadly form of the disease. So we are not allowing her to, me myself, I am not going to meet her actually. That's the situation.
Advise others, Dr. Sharma, who perhaps are not in urgent need of visiting the hospital, to
if there is
delay.
yeah, if there is an urgent need of visiting the hospital, first of all he or she should get in touch with the doctor, ask him or her when the patient take a proper appointment when there are no other patients, and then come to the hospital. Better to come that way. Better to not to be in touch with the patients. Like what I am doing is I am keeping a lapse of 1 hour, half an hour in between the patients. I'm trying to keep a gap in between 2-3 patients. I always keep a gap so that if the first person is getting infected also, if he or she is infected also, the second person entering my room shouldn't get infected, because the moment the first patient is getting out, I sanitize the whole room, the entire room, the OT room where I'm working. I change my kit and then I get back to work. Okay, so let me just proceed. So, I'll just explain shortly, very precisely, how how the virus enters the host body, the patient's body. Okay. First of all, what happens is the virus will affect the host. Okay. The moment the virus affects the host meaning the patient, there is release of proteases. There is releases of few what I'll say, supposedly spicules. I'm just saying in layman. Okay, it's not a medical term, to accept the virus. Okay, and then what happens, there is activation of few enzymes, there is release of few enzymes from the virus, and then the virus slowly enters the cell cytoplasm of the host body, and gradually it destroys the cells tissues of the human body. Okay, and first of all, what happens, there is mild cough. Due to cough, there is release of inflammatory enzymes. Okay, and then there is fever, and then slowly it affects the lungs, and within 3 or 4 days you will see a bad situation. The oxygen saturation goes down to 55, which should be 99, 98. 55 is a very bad situation. Carbon dioxide level goes higher, and then that situation, there is urgent need of medical treatment. If the patient is not ventilated properly, if the patient is not given oxygen supply, then the patient might collapse. He or she might have a shock and he might die. Okay.
And then we might have a few questions from the audience also. Remember, any of you want to ask any question, you have any queries, please feel free to ask Dr. Shamima. So do we have a question?
Yes. Hello. Hi, Dr. Syeda. This is Meenakshi here, and I'm a researcher by profession.
Yeah.
I had a question actually. So there's a lot of talk that's going on as far as the fatality rate of the virus is concerned in India, because we don't have a very high percentage of people, who have died in the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's also the medical fraternity who's been saying that the virulence of the strand of the virus which
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
come
That is.
here is lower in comparison to countries like Italy or, for example, other places in Europe or US for that matter. So what is your take on that? I just wanted to.
Ma'am, actually what I am seeing from the present scenario, which I am seeing from the scenario of government medical colleges or COVID wards, which I'm seeing is, the more the virus is transmitting, there is replication and mutation of the genome. While mutating, it's getting on to a more virulent form. That's why if you can see, the count of death which was before has
Right.
raised higher. Right now the count of death is higher, and in a quick period of time, the saturation level of the patient is getting lower, and the patients are dying that way only. And before it was like 60 years, if the patients are affected 60-65, they are affected easily, they die easily. But right now, even the people of 20s 30s are also getting affected very easily, and even they are also, although they are not having any comorbid diseases, still they are dying. So we cannot say. Before it was like that, but right now, after mutation, it's getting more to a more virulent form, actually.
I see. Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I was also wondering here, Dr.
Yeah.
Many different countries and how the strain is kind of weakening or strengthening.
What happened in Italy? What happened in Italy and the other foreign countries? The outburst of the virus was earlier, right? Like it was in November or October, and the death rate came into view like in January, if I'm not wrong. Just correct me if I'm wrong. So it had mutated several times, and then in January it took the most virulent form. And right now, what is happening in our situation is, it was from March the outbreak of coronavirus has come into view. From March up till now, right now the virulent form is getting into view, if I'm not wrong. Can you also view that thing, the same thing?
So it looks like that. I'm just a lay person, but looking at the trajectory and the graphs
Yeah,
that they share, which we come across, it does seem to be the case.
that is
So,
the case.
Dr. Shamima, another question here is,
Yeah.
why does this virus seem to affect different people differently? Like for some, they are asymptomatic, some have mild symptoms, and for some it's severe.
Yeah, you know why? Because supposedly a person from outside, he or she is looking healthy, but we don't know from inside how he or she is. Like one athlete, I exactly don't remember his name. He was a football player. He had leukemia. Leukemia, as for its blood cancer. He didn't know that he is having leukemia. At the age of 22, he died because of the infection of the coronavirus. So we don't know who is having what underlying disease. Like, see, for me, I'll just say you one example. I am given hydroxychloroquine. Many people has used hydroxychloroquine as, what I'll say, as a medication to protect himself or herself from the disease. But I didn't take it because I am having, palpitation, because my heart rate is not proper. It may affect me and I might collapse. There was a I will not say the name, from a hospital, a private hospital in Guwahati itself. He collapsed after having twice or thrice the dose of hydroxychloroquine. So you don't know what is the situation internally. We are going on. We don't know what is our internal, what we are having. And some people who are like, from outside, they are not looking, they are not looking like they're stable, they're okay. From inside, they are okay. You cannot predict that thing. The health is a very big thing. We don't understand it. It's, we are fish from a very small pond. Actually, we don't know, it's very vast. That's what.
Can we safely say that it attacks children less?
Pardon?
Can we safely say that this virus attacks children less?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. It attacks children less. It attacks infants more. It attacks elderly persons more. But the cure rate of infants is more. The rate of elderly patients is less. Most
is
of the
it increasing
most of
along
the
anything
pardon.
along male and female lines also?
No, male and female, there is till now, there is nothing, like both are undergoing the same situation. Like in case of my co-colleague, he is also a dentist. He came up from Silchar. This virus is carried, okay. This is till now, this is not airborne. People are saying, it was carried by his son. He was undergoing duties, his government duties, and what happened is his parents, both of his parents are now affected with the virus, both mother and father. So, and for both of them, the saturation level of oxygen has come down to 55. So we cannot say that male gender prediction is very less up till now. Till now I didn't get any gender prediction, but yes, the people who are having comorbid diseases are affected earlier, like his parents, his mother is diabetic, his father is diabetic, and his father has this thing, aplastic anemia, so he took up the virus earlier. That's what.
So I think you said yourself, Dr. Shamima, that you're taking vitamin B and C. So I
Vitamin
believe
bicosul with zinc.
okay,
Bicosul zinc with zinc.
okay. I'm making a note of these because I will also start taking them in that case.
Everyone, I would advise everybody around to take vitamin bicosul zinc, not only vitamin bicosul with zinc, and then vitamin linc, that is vitamin C. And thirdly, I would advise everybody to take a cup of red tea, green tea, whatever, with slight tinge of tulsi leaves. Now you can just take slight tinge of tulsi and then have it. That will give you hell of a lot of immunity. You'll feel good from inside. And and secondly, you should also keep smiling amidst
I mean,
everything.
tough in these
You
situations.
have to, but you have to, the more you smile, the more you get strength from inside. The release of catecholamines is not there actually. The our hormonal balance is also important, na? When our hormones, when there is stress, you can see that when there is stress, the girls especially are getting acne problem. If I'm not wrong, am I correct? Am I correct? So when people are like, when people are happy now, they don't get the acne problem. Why? Because of the release of hormones only. Because you are not weak from inside, you are strong from inside. That's why. So I'll proceed, okay? So what up till now, what I want to say everybody, the more transmission is going on, the more virulent the virus is getting, the more strong the virus is getting, and more easily we are being affected. So we should cut the chain. We should stay indoors as much as possible actually. So I've already talked about the transmission of the virus. How the virus is transmitting. As I've said everyone, that right now what I feel is it's airborne, but there is no study, there is no research predicting that it's airborne. It's droplet actually, it's the droplet which is spreading the disease. How? Supposedly a person coughs in front of you. The moment he or she coughs in front of you, the droplet falls up into you, whoever is surrounded within that area, na? So definitely you will get affected with the virus that will enter you, na? The moment it enters you, because your nostrils will be open, your eyes without specs will be open, your mouth will be open, anywhere it might fall. So you have to what is the PPE kit? There is a set of goggles, N95 mask. So we close the holes so that there is no entry of the droplet, even though the patient coughs at us, sneezes at us. So till now, what research has said that it is a droplet spread. It's not airborne. but I don't know. I think it's airborne also right now.
I think WHO just accepted 2 days back that it's also airborne, because there was a lot of pressure from the medical fraternity. Almost about
Because
250 or 300 scientists and doctors have been saying that the virus is also
it is
airborne, and there's a lot of
ma'am,
evidence.
from before itself, I have been seeing that, because doctors, although even though they are taking so many precautions, they are being affected. So definitely it has to be airborne, because it's very difficult for us to wear that PPE kit more than 8 hours. It's difficult to wear even 8 hours. I personally cannot wear even it. 6 hours is very difficult. I sweat like anything. I'm having internal dehydration. Starting when I used to wear the PPE kits, now I was having internal dehydration, severe internal dehydration.
I think just yesterday a nurse collapsed at GMC
Yeah,
after wearing the PPE kit for more than 8 hours.
yeah, that's what. Okay, ma'am. Then see, like as it's said, as it's said, na, that for in the copper particles, it stays for 4 hours. In cardboards, it stays up to 24 hours. Plastic, stainless steel, 2 to 3 days. That's why what we are avoiding is, we open all our rings, all our earrings. We don't wear anything, because metal is attracted very easily. Now in metals, it stays for like 2 to 3 days. That's why we are not wearing these things. We get rid of right now we can get rid of these things, and we can protect ourselves from the virus, and when the virus is gone, we can enjoy wearing this. So better to leave this. Even some
Yeah, the
dogs
question
and yeah.
to ask Dr. Sharma, if
Hello,
anyone
this
else has
one.
a question.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah,
You just mentioned about staying indoors, but so many countries in the West went for a herd immunity approach.
that
So what's
is
your take on
absolutely,
that?
that is according to me, not any personal thing. According to me, that is rubbish. There is nothing called as herd immunity. How many doctors are collapsing day by day? We are losing very good doctors, very good people like this. So we'll lose a generation. And talking about India, we have less doctors. Where will we hire doctors from? Where will we? US and all are so much developed. Even then, they are having less of doctors. Now, what will we do? Just imagine the situation of us. We are affected like anything. From where will we get doctors to treat the patients? We cannot get herd immunity this way. This is not done. When vaccination is available, that time you can think of everything. You can go out. But right now, the most important thing is protecting ourselves for the sake of our dear ones. We are having our parents at home, elderly people, and grandparents at home. We have to protect them. We need them. Otherwise, we'll lose a generation. We'll have a generation difference. We'll lose them. Actually, we'll lose them. And badly, the death rate is getting higher now.
Yes, and I think we already have a shortage of doctors.
We already have a short. See, I have been called right now. Even the call from the private hospitals also, doctors are being called. So just imagine the plight of the, there is shortage of ward boys, there is shortage of nurses, there is shortage of doctors, because who will accept working for this? First of all, people say matlab jaan hai to jahan hai. So people will first of all stay indoors, take care of themselves. That's what.
So do you have any message, Dr. Sharma, for the doctors
For
and for other medical staff who are afraid to come
being
forward and
first of all, we are doctors. We have taken vows to serve the community, so we cannot step back. So if you want to step back, you should avoid with the doctor degree. You surrender the degree of doctorate, and just you should be a normal human being. Because when you are a doctor, you are pledging to serve the society, you're pledging to serve the community. You have to come forward. You have to come forward and treat. For me personally, first of all, in March, when there was lockdown, I stayed home for 4 days. Frankly speaking, I'm not lying. Honestly, I stayed home for 4 days. After that, there were so many calls from so many patients. I thought, no, I have to step ahead. Because I'm a doctor, I have to serve people. Whatever will happen will happen. I'll take care of myself. I took care of myself accordingly, and I step forward. Till now, I'm touch wood. I'm not affected till now.
I should thank you here for being so brave and stepping out after those initial few days. And I think
Initial few
everyone is
days, I
well
was
grateful.
very. Initial few days, I was very scared. But right now, I am ready to work. If there is a call for me to work, I will definitely work. If it's on my hand, if I know, if I have the knowledge of treating these patients, I will go forward. That is for sure. I will not step back. Stepping back is not that is not a solution. We have to take care of ourselves. Definitely, we have to take care of ourselves, and we have to step forward.
Are doctors operating under terrible conditions, Dr. Shamima? Is there a shortage of ventilators, ICU beds, and
Yeah,
situations like
definitely.
that in hospitals?
Yes, situations like that is in hospitals. See, today when I said now my co-colleague now whose parents has got infected, I called several hospitals. Like I'll take a few names: Hayat Hospital, Name Care Hospital. These are good hospitals in Guwahati, but they had no beds available for them. Where will the patients go? They don't want his parents to be treated in a government hospital, because government to na, when like why do we go to private setups? To get good treatment, to get the best treatment. Actually, government fraternities, we always have a thing at the mind back now that we will not get proper treatment because the load of the patients are more. Different people are coming now. That's why we, the best we can do is stay protected, stay home. That's the best we can do. Go out only when it's very necessary. If it's not necessary, stay back, stay home. That's the best thing we can do. That's the best way of helping the doctors, the nurses, everyone, all the health workers. This is the best way of the normal citizens to help us, actually, unless it's very important. So I'll just go ahead.
Yes, yes, Dr.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
just before you proceed, I'll just summarize. You said stay home. Vitamin B and C are good to take. Drink green tea or tea with tulsi.
And ginger.
A home remedy, ginger.
Yeah.
Yes. And stay home, most important. Okay, Dr.
If possible, get a bit of exercise also. And meditation to relieve ourselves from the stress, because we know it's not easy for somebody to stay home just without any work, stay home just like that. It's very difficult for people. So to keep ourselves cool and calm, to keep ourselves, we should be cool at this time. We should concentrate in whatever small work what we are doing now. So number one, we should keep ourselves busy with anything, whatever we get in front. The moment you said that I have to give a talk on this topic, I was very eager to give, because I was happy to keep myself busy. The moment I'm busy, I forget everything. I'm just talking now, so I'm happy to spread a bit of knowledge, but whatever I'm having, I don't know how much I'm able to spread, also how much knowledge I'm able to say, but still I'm happy because I'm busy. This is a way of meditating, actually, to keep ourselves away from the psychological stress.
Can I speak?
Yeah.
Yes, Milind, do you have a question for Dr. Shamima?
Yes. Can you see how excited she is that she doesn't even allow you to finish your statement? You say something, she's the. So as I said, she's very young. So I had to cut in and tell Dr. Syeda that let the host finish her sentence.
Sure. Sure.
Okay,
I'm so sorry.
Okay, all right, I'll be mute now.
Okay, so sorry.
No. Not at all. I think we'll all keep cutting each other.
Yeah, actually, I love talking. I enjoy talking, actually. My best hobby is talking and sleeping. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
So
I think there are no more questions. So Dr. Shamima, you can proceed with your explanation.
yeah, you have asked earlier that is there community spread. What community spread exactly is? You know what it is? We don't know the history of the patient. From where did the virus come from? And right now, the patients which we are getting, they don't have any history. Mind you, they don't have any history. I'm seriously saying this is information which we are getting from inside. There is no history of the patient. We don't know from where the virus is coming. Some people, although they are indoors, supposedly once or twice they are going out. How will we expect that he or she will remember that I went to bring milk, I went to bring few chocolates, went to bring few biscuit packets? Nobody is going to remember, na? So we don't know the history from where the virus is actually coming from. So this is where we are, we have to be very, very aware. We have to, this is a situation, actually it's a very scary situation. We don't know the origin of the disease. We don't know from where it's coming from. So community spread actually has started in Assam. I'm talking about Assam. Not only about Assam, all over India. All over India, the spread of community has come. Like, see, famous film actor Amitabh Bachchan and Abhishek Bachchan, they also have got infected with the virus. So even they don't know from where did the virus come. They don't have any travel history. Earlier it was like people are having travel history, people should go into quarantine for a few days, and then only they will be allowed. Like, in our hospital, uh, a doctor went through a COVID positive patient earlier in March. I'm talking about in March, okay? And then for 28 days he was in quarantine, although he had a negative report. So that time we knew that this patient has a travel history, and this doctor has seen this patient. So this doctor might get the disease. So this doctor has to be kept in quarantine or in isolation. But right now there is nothing as such. We don't know whatever patients we are touching. It might be a asymptomatic carrier. It might be a symptomatic patient also. We don't know. That's why best is what I am doing is I'm checking the fever with the thermal scanner. If there is, in case if there is a patient with fever or cough, I'm directly sending the patient to casualty. The casualty people are referring it to either GMCH or other COVID hospitals.
Sometimes I've seen these sort of funny viral images, Dr. Shamima, where the doctor is just wearing a mask and maybe gloves, whereas the patient has come completely covered from head to toe in PPEs. So do you think sometimes there might even be people who are overdoing it, overprotecting themselves?
Yeah, some people are there who are they are doing over. See, every time getting availability of PPE kit is also not easy for us. We are not getting easy availability, easy accessibility of PPE kits. My co-colleague, he was working in a government college. I'll say the name now. I'm not scared. Silchar Medical College, okay? But he didn't get a proper N95 mask to wear. He didn't get a proper PPE kit to wear, for which he got infected with the disease. Even my colleague from dental college in Guwahati, she also got infected because she was on screening duty, but she didn't have any kind of PPE kit, any kind of protective N95 mask, due to which she got affected earlier. Right now she's stable though. Right now she is very stable because maybe due to her age, she had no underlying diseases. She's okay. She's fine now. But this way, she was not affected while, see, we knew the history, na, that she was doing a screening of the patient and she got affected. So we know. But right now, every second doctor is getting affected. We don't know from where. From where he or she is getting affected, from where she got the disease, we don't know. So here the thing of community spread has come.
Because it's even more scarier for doctors because they are more at risk. So,
Right
Dr.
now,
Shamima, you also said somewhere about monitoring the temperature, and I think before that you mentioned the oxygen saturation. Is
yeah,
that a
right
very
now,
important indicator?
That is very important indicator. Right now, what I am doing is I have kept one pulse oximeter available with myself, with which I check the oxygen saturation now and then. Because
So
what
you
happens,
suggest that we
everyone,
should also
yeah,
get
yeah,
those
yeah, yeah,
oximeters.
try to, it's not that much costly also, it's around 2000 or 1800 rupees. So we lavishly, spend money for eating, for tours, various tours, for different magazines. For why not for our health? Only 2000 rupees we can spare na easily. So we can keep it with us. It's pocket friendly. We can put it in our fingers and just check the saturation level of our oxygen. If it's like less than 98, 99, it's like 70, 75, then we should think once. We should, that's the alarm bell. We should go and consult a doctor immediately.
Ma'am, I got a question. What
Please,
about
you're going
home
to say if
isolation
anybody has a
for,
question.
yeah, uh, what about home isolation for asymptomatic people as ICMR has allowed? What is
That is
there?
that is okay. If a patient is asymptomatic, home isolation is a remedy for him, because there are different patients which are symptomatic and which require proper medication. Asymptomatic cases do not require medications, although they can have vitamin C and vitamin B. Because as I have said earlier, they can keep on having that. They can take warm drinks like coffee, tea, whatever, and they can keep themselves, at home isolation only, in an isolated environment. That is okay, because you will be leaving a space for the symptomatic patients which really need proper treatment. That is okay. Any more questions?
No, I think you can move forward.
Between Jayashree had said thank you. She's finding the session very useful. Jayashree, do you have a question? Probably not at this point. Dr. Shamima, you can go ahead in that case.
Yeah. So coming to the symptoms, the most important point, coming with the symptoms, which I want to say is,
Ma'am, say something.
Is there a question? Does anybody have a question? Please feel free to go ahead and ask Dr. Shamima.
yeah, any questions?
All right. I think we'll just go ahead and proceed. And whenever there's a question, we just take it as and when it comes.
Yeah. So coming to the symptoms of COVID-19, what happens is there is fever, there is coughing. These symptoms to everybody, you can say it easily, that you have been finding it in the WhatsApp thing also, that there is fever, coughing, shortness of breath, trouble in breathing, fatigue is muscle weakness. There is very weakness, malaise and weakness, and sometimes rigors also. Rigors means tremors, the body shivers, there is shivering with fever, body aches, headaches, sore throat, loss of smell or taste. Whenever you are having cough and cold, you are having cold, especially, you are having loss of taste, loss of smell, sorry, loss of smell and loss of taste. There is nausea, there is diarrhea, and ultimately the virus causes pneumonia, as I've said. And after pneumonia, there is respiratory failure, and then there is septic shock and death. So many COVID-19 complications may be caused, as cytokinin release is there. Cytokinin is an inflammatory thing which comes after the effect of COVID-19 is there in the host body. Am I clear? And thereby what happens is, thereby slowly all the organs of our body collapses. First of all, the lungs. The moment the lungs is not working properly, the oxygen supply is cut short. The moment the oxygen supply is cut short, there will be no proper flow of blood in the body, because for the blood to purify, we require oxygen. Am I clear? So when the oxygen supply is cut short, all the organs gradually die. and gradually there is morbidity of the patient. Can I just excuse everyone for a while and just I'll just take on my charger. My laptop is having low thing.
Meanwhile, I think we also just had a message from Krishna Payen. He says he's finding this very useful. Krishna, if you too have a question or Jayashree, please feel free to go ahead and ask Dr. Shamima.
Durga, I think there is a background noise from Dr. Syeda Samin's fan. So I think she needs to use the speed of the fan.
I think she's just trying to reboot.
No, it's a fan. No, there's a background noise from her mic. I think it's her fan. So I think she needs to reduce the speed.
I think the background noise sometimes could also be from my end, which is why I'm muting from time to time.
It's really scary right now, right? The way it is going around.
It's very, very scary, Milin. And, every day I see these forwarded images, horror stories where patient has died after knocking the doors of 10 hospitals, 11 hospitals. Even in Bangalore, for example, it's a terrible situation, not only in Assam.
You sound much better now. Previously, it was really not coming through. Did you change something?
Gosh. No, I'm just holding the mic really close to my mouth.
Okay,
Maybe
now
that's
it's
what's.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry.
Not at all.
Yeah.
We were just discussing, Dr. Shamima, how bad it is. We get these forwarded videos of people knocking at many hospitals' doors. Sometimes they say, first you must get a COVID certificate. And
That is
to get a
that is
certificate, you need a, yes.
that is definitely, that is very difficult. That is a very bad situation going on, but the hospitals also, they have no other option. Actually, what they should do is, what I'm thinking, what I've suggested for my hospital is that better get a rapid test done. There is a rapid test kit available. Immediately after the patient enters, we can get the rapid test done. After getting a confirmatory report how it's going on, is he or she positive or negative, we can process with the treatment. Or we can stay 6 feet away from the patient, and at least we can give the medications. If the patient is very poor economically, they are weak. There are patients who are economically very weak and not getting proper treatment. There was a patient, it was not now, it was like in I guess in April, I got that patient. That patient was avoided in many hospitals, and ultimately, at last, they came to our hospital, and then the patient already was in that situation that she already collapsed and she died. She had cardiac arrest. She didn't get proper treatment at proper time. Actually, that was the problem.
We'll take a question here,
Yeah.
Doctor. And Gayatri, you have a question? Gayatri Bora would like to ask you a question. Gayatri, please go ahead.
I think she might have pressed it by mistake.
Okay. See, there might be severe symptoms also of this corona. There right now I'm talking about fever, cough, all related to lungs. The very bad point is there are even gastrointestinal disturbances of COVID patients. That is also a symptom of corona. that we have seen in these days, that the patients are also having gastrointestinal disorders, and even that is also a symptom of corona, of COVID.
Yeah, that's another thing, Dr. Shamima. We keep hearing of new symptoms like this
Yeah,
gastro stuff has again come up, which was not there before.
even conjunctivitis, even conjunctivitis.
That I hadn't heard of till you told me just now.
Yeah, and even ulcers in the tongue, in the tongue, in the buccal mucosa, there is even ulcers. What happens is, the moment corona attacks, sometimes what happens is people, if there is mild fever also, they are that much, they are they are resistant, they don't feel. And what happens is, ultimately, because they are neglecting the thing, later on they are having, because there is disturbance in the whole system, there is disturbance now, there is release of few enzymes, because of which the gastrointestinal disorder is occurring. Number one. Number two, what happens is, because of the inflammatory enzymes, inflammatory thing which is coming out because of the attack of the virus, there is ulcers, and because there is deficiency of few vitamins. That's why I'm telling repeatedly that the more you take vitamins, the more you will be immune to this disease. Shortly, one of my friend has speak about herd immunity. What is herd immunity? Getting exposed to the disease and then getting immune to it. If we are not that much strong, how will we think of herd immunity? First of all, we have to make ourselves that much strong with the availability of the vitamins available, with the availability of the exercises available. Then only we can go for herd immunity. How many people are taking vitamins? How many people are taking regular exercises? How will the low grade people take vitamins? They don't have money to take food only. How will they get vitamins and all? They are definitely a lot of vitamins and everything. Their body will definitely not be immune. So the moment they will be exposed, they will definitely collapse. Am I right?
And this thing with vitamin D, doctor,
Calcium.
on one hand, yeah, there is advice that you shouldn't step out of the house, stay locked in. But there are other articles which say you should try and get sunshine and you should go outdoors sometimes. So it seems like
Sunshine.
a contradiction. What to do?
Sunshine we can get in our balconies also. Why do we need to go out from our house? Why do we need to step up from our home? That is not a requirement. We can stay indoors and we can take sunlight. We can go to our terrace with a book, with a cup of coffee, and then we can enjoy sunlight. Or we can go for a walk also. But as far as possible, we should stay indoors.
So somebody like me, for example, Dr. Shamima, who has asthma, it's an underlying condition, you might call it.
That is a comorbid condition.
It's
You
a
have to be,
comorbidity.
you have to be more and more and more careful. You have to be very careful. Like, see, today I have treated one patient. She is she's a MD of our hospital. She has that asthma problem, but then I had to treat her because I had no other option, or else already she had severe pain, because of which I had to treat her in this corona duration also. And today was a last sitting. I'll come back to you. What was that? It was, her tooth cracked. Okay, and that is a very painful condition. The moment you will bite, there will be pain and severe pain. So she had to come to me. But before she came, I sanitized all my things. I wore a new set of PPE kits properly, and then I treated her. If you require treatment also, try to get treated by a doctor whom you can trust, that he or she will take as much precautions for you as far as possible. Then only get treated by him or her. Understood? Because right now the condition is very bad. Na? It's worst. I'm not able to hear anything. You are, I think it's muted.
Oh, I think I was on mute. Sorry. Yeah, no, I was just agreeing with what you said. The situation in Guwahati also seems to be worsening by the day. And there's lockdown there.
I think Guwahati is worsening more than the villages in Assam. Villages in Assam are, I think, in a better condition, placed in a better condition than Guwahati. People of Guwahati are. People of Guwahati are being affected more because it's a metropolitan city now. What is happening? There is economic downfall. Okay, there is a hell of a lot of economic downfall. The restaurants are not earning properly. There are no restaurants open. So people are coming out in the streets. How much will they be in lockdown? And because of which they are getting affected. Even today it was lockdown in Guwahati, but I saw many people outside. I saw it was not lockdown today.
Why are they outside when it is a lockdown? Is that
today it's not advisable. It's not advisable, but I don't know why many people were there outside. Today I have seen many people outside. Before, last week there was nobody in the road. The road was fully deserted. Everybody was inside. So, I also felt good that the chain of this COVID continuation will merge down and we can hope for a good start again. But then today the condition was not good, as I've seen.
So,
actually,
any other things that you wanted to share, Dr. Shamima, which you didn't get a chance to yet? You can just go ahead and then we can move towards it.
So, as I've said now, the people who are at a risk with the infection of coronavirus are the people with CKD, chronic kidney disease. And I'll say you, how will you know that a person is having chronic kidney disease? Number one, a person supposedly, like my grandmother was, she was taking medication for hypertension for nearly 40 years. After suffering for hypertension for nearly 40 years, hypertension and diabetes people are always affected in 3 organs. Today or tomorrow, they will definitely be affected in these 3 organs. Number 1 is the brain. Number 2 is the kidney. Number 3 is the heart. It is the medications also which is affecting them, even the disease also which is affecting them. The people who are having uncontrolled sugar are nearly and easily affected with kidney diseases. So, before coming to chronic kidney disease, you have to be more, you have to be more alarmed with the thing that a person who is having hypertension or diabetic has to be kept at home, has to be kept protected, more protected, because if he or she is affected, then you don't know, the medicines are not working actually. The symptomatic remedies or the symptomatic medications which we are giving is not at all working in these patients. That is why today there was a doctor, as I said earlier, today a doctor has expired. He expired because of this only, because he had underlying diseases like he had diabetes mellitus, and hypertension. The medications which he was provided did not affect him at all. That's why. Secondly, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, that's a lung disease, any kind of lung disease, people who are having any kind of lung disease. Thirdly, a weakened immune. Yeah, definitely. Try to keep a pulse oximeter with you. The best option, pulse oximeter. Yeah, good. Pulse oximeter is very helpful, that you can check your saturation. And number 2 is a nebulizer, if it's possible, that you can that you can keep it yourself, you can operate it yourself. I'll just say shortly and precisely how. Like salbutamol, you have this thing, inhaler, I guess. That's salbutamol.
Inhaler, but I don't have a nebulizer.
You just try to keep the nebulizer available with you anytime you can require. Okay, it's just the the liquid thing, the salbutamol. You just pour it into it and just take it for 5 to 10 minutes. You will feel better. Whenever you have an attack, try using that. It's better to keep with yourself. Okay, I have it with me.
For all
I
asthma
have it
patients like me,
for all
anybody
asthma
suffering from
patients.
COPD, please keep
Yeah.
a nebulizer also if you
COPD,
can.
asthma, bronchitis, pharyngitis, any kind of disease. And number three is betadine mouthwashes. Betadine mouthwashes is very helpful because I am having pharyngitis regularly. I am only I'm only profited with the betadine mouthwashes which I am doing regularly after being affected.
So
Definitely
again, to summarize for
dilute.
myself, Dr. Shamima, you've said vitamin E, vitamin Becasul tablets you had suggested.
Decosul zinc.
Becasul
Decosul with
zinc.
zinc. Yeah,
Okay.
zinc.
Becasul with zinc. Then you had said vitamin C.
Yeah.
And of course, home remedies like ginger tea and tea with tulsi, warm liquids. And then you have suggested a pulse oximeter to keep that handy.
Yeah.
Plus, now you have suggested for those with respiratory conditions to
Nebulizer.
also keep a nebulizer ready.
Nebulizer.
Right. Have I left out anything?
No.
What about the oxygen meter?
That's what I'm saying. Pulse oximeter is the same thing.
I think that's
Okay.
that's a short form, Milind. It's called
Okay,
the
okay.
oximeter.
It's
Okay, okay.
actually pulse oximeter.
And it should be above 90, right? If
It
it is
should be,
below 90,
it should be, yeah, it should be above 90, above 90. If it's below 90, that's an alarming signal for you that you are having some underlying disease for sure. Because my auntie, she has no disease, okay? She has no disease, she is very okay, but suddenly her oxygen saturation goes down to 34. Just imagine. 34 is a situation where anytime that patient might have shock, she might collapse. But later on, we diagnosed it as chronic, obstructive, this thing, apnea, sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea disorder. Because she was very fat, she didn't have any kind of exercise. Her chin is, double chin, na? And then this is compressed while she's sleeping. This is compressed, and the amount of oxygen she is taking in, the amount of carbon dioxide she's giving out is not balanced, because of which she is having the problem in taking in the oxygen. So what we have given her is BiPAP machine. That is also widely available. Many people are using that BiPAP machine at non-invasive ventilation. That is called as non-invasive ventilation. Why I'm saying this is, supposedly the situation might come in Guwahati that there are no beds available. You have to take your medication yourself. You have to buy a non-invasive ventilation and take it at home. That requires no oxygen cylinder, nothing. Just a small machine which is handy. You can just tie it up at night and you can sleep. No problem. Just it has to be adjusted. For the adjustment, you need require the help of a technician. Only one time you require the adjustment. Later on, it will be fine.
This sounds quite exciting, Dr. Shamima. When can we get hold of this?
Non-invasive ventilation,
gadget,
like
whatever we can call it. Yeah.
that is a bit costlier. It's like around 50k. So when when you are feeling like you don't know the situation is going worse, Turna, that's why I'm just giving you an just a hint of it, so that you don't have a panic situation. Because like it might be, the situation might arise that there are no doctors to treat you, there are no hospital beds available. So at that time, try to get hold of that non-invasive ventilation, which you have to tie up like this. Here will be the mask and just the small machine, no oxygen cylinder. You will be able to breathe properly. The oxygen saturation will rise.
And is it available in the market?
It's available. It's easily available. If somebody can afford, it's better to buy it. We have one available oxygen cylinder.
Cylinders, doctor. Some people are also saying, since there's such
Oxygen
a
cylinder,
hospitals can
yeah,
buy and keep.
yeah, you can buy and keep that also. That is 8,000 rupees. One oxygen cylinder will cost you 8,000, not more than that. That also you can take, but you have to adjust a thing. Once you learn that I cannot show because I don't have it now. That percentage of the flow of the oxygen has to be adjusted. At the go, you cannot give too much of oxygen. You cannot take in. So that has to be adjusted. You can keep, you especially for you, I'm saying you can keep it handy with you. Actually, one oxygen cylinder, one pulse oximeter, one nebulizer. First of all, what you will require, supposedly you are having problem in breathing, inhaler. Inhaler is not working, nebulizer. Nebulizer is not working, non-oxygen. Oxygen is not working, non-invasive ventilation. Am I clear?
Absolutely. And I think that's priceless advice that you've given, Dr. Shamima. I hope all those with respiratory illnesses are following this. So you know now, stepwise, all the things that you have to keep handy.
And for everybody who is having respiratory problems, any kind of respiratory disease, for them, not only for them, actually for everybody, I would like to advise you on exercise. Take in, breathe out. Take in, breathe out. And for you especially, you can take a spirometer. Okay, that will contain
Sorry,
3
doctor,
balls.
what is a spirometer again?
Spirometer is a device which will help exercising the lung muscles. Okay, that is very cheap. That is 800 rupees only, 800 to 1000, not more than that. That is widely available in the pharmacies. Just you have to inhale in, inhale out. Inhaling, expiration, inhalation, expiration. When you will do that, there are 3 balls in the thing. If the 3 balls are going up, that means your lungs are working properly. If they are not going up, your lungs are not working properly. You have to do that continuously. I'm advising it personally for you. Understood? Spirometer. Please remember the thing. You do that exercise regularly. Believe me, trust me, you will have no requirement of inhaler, nothing, no chemicals, no medicines. That this will help you. Use spirometer.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. So I can just again, I can order it online.
You can order it online. Yeah, you can order it online. But I'll send you the image later on.
Okay,
For
thank
you, I'll
so
send the
much.
image. Okay.
Meanwhile, there's a question from
Yeah.
the audience. Krishna would like to ask us: is there any food which should be avoided during the pandemic? Is there a specific food that we should avoid?
Yeah. Cold food, like ice creams, cold drinks. You have to avoid those things. Frozen food, cold food. Try to take everything hot. Don't try to expose yourself to cold. What happens in this June, July month, what I have noticed for myself, I take a lot of frozen thing, like ice creams. I take very cold water, frozen, water, which is, I take, ice in it and then drink the water. That is very harmful. Right now, that is very harmful. You have to avoid the cold food.
So even if it's hot summers, you have to control yourself and just
Even if it's hot summers, you should avoid the cold food. Try to avoid as much as possible. So I will proceed. Yeah, here I have written obesity is also a comorbid factor. That's why earlier itself, I said that it's better to undergo exercise. Remember? Because obesity can be a factor. As I have mentioned for my aunt, only because she is obese, she's having obstructive sleep apnea disorder, and thereby she has to take non-invasive ventilation, and definitely her lungs are weak. By now, her lungs are weak. So to avoid this, we should go on having regular exercises. And heart conditions, if a person is having serious heart conditions, so definitely he is a comorbid patient. So I'll pass forward. These are other conditions like asthma, durba for you. See, this is a condition which might lead to severity of the virus. Then
it's a very scary news, but since you've said that we must try to
no,
keep smiling,
you shouldn't.
I'm trying to continue to smile through.
Just keep smiling, and it's not a scary thing. It's not at all scary. See, my patient which came today, she's 72 years old, even more than that. But then she is regularly using spirometer. She is regularly doing yoga. She is regularly having vitamin Lim-C, vitamin C, and vitamin B-Cosul with zinc. Regularly having the hot drinks. and she's fine. And you cannot, by seeing her skin, you cannot even predict her age. I was thinking she was 60s maybe. She is glowing. Still she is glowing.
Very
Still
inspiring
she
for
is.
us. 72,
That's
you
why
said.
72, more than, it may be more than that. She said me 72, it may be more than that, but still her skin is glowing. She is very happy. She's very enthusiastic, smiling always. These are the factors which will always make you immune. Unhappy is a sign of a very weak person. He has no immunity. Once you're happy, your immunity will high automatically. It will be high automatically. Okay. So as I
That
have
means you
said,
have a very high immunity, right? That means
def-
you have very high
def-
immunity.
for myself, I think maybe I was already exposed for the disease and I have recovered also. I think, I don't know. I think like that. Because as I work in a hospital, there might be patients coming also. Maybe I got infected also. I don't know it I have gone away with that also. I think like that. Because I'm always smiling. Whatever be the situation, I'm always very jolly, always very smiling. So please, that's the advice for everyone. Try to be smiling.
Last
Try to be.
question from me, Dr. Shamima, since you said that it's possible that you had it and you got over it. Um, so once somebody has COVID and recovers, is there any chance of them getting it again?
Very less chance. Very less chance. Because already he or she is immune to the virus, so he or she will have very less chance of getting the disease in a recurrence rate. It's very less, because this
I
is a
think that's all the
virus.
questions I had today.
Yeah.
This has been a wonderfully helpful session for me specifically, and I hope it has been the same for all of the viewers and those
Yeah.
who will continue to see this.
Okay, so I'll just gist it down. So as I said earlier, high blood pressure patients are also these are also comorbid conditions. Dementia is like, if there is more of dopamine secretion, the brain thing, the brain function is not proper. Layman terms I'm saying, the brain function is not proper, and the the patient forgets everything. Supposedly she will forget your name, he or she might forget what she had taken, like that. Okay, that is dementia. That is also a comorbid condition. And one thing, see, many people in WhatsApp, maybe you have seen na, people are saying take alcohol. Alcohol is a medicine to corona. It's a very fake thing. Try to avoid those narcotic things like smoking, alcohol, because these will always lower your immunity. These narcotic drinks, this will always lower your immunity, and definitely, and they will make you more prone to this disease. So now, how will we protect ourselves? Now I'll come to the protection and prevention part. As we know, prevention is always better than cure. So what do you suggest? Do you suggest it's better to get a herd immunity, or to protecting, or to prevent ourselves from the disease? From everyone. I'm asking this question from everybody, to all the audience. Definitely, we should prevent ourselves from getting infected with this disease. Am I right? Until there is any proper vaccine. So, number one, 20 seconds. Wash your hands properly. All the nook and corners of your hands. Wash properly. Sanitize your hands every time you go outside. Sanitize with alcohol-based hand rub or wash. Secondly, maintain 1 meter, 3 feet distance from others, at least 3 feet distance from others. And while you are going out, some people have a tendency of itching, touching the head, see, supposedly for me, I always do this. I always have the tendency.
All the time, yes. I think even during the course of our conversation, I've been, touching here, touching.
Yeah, try to avoid. You have to try to avoid that. The moment, like today, I said, no, the 72-year-old patient was going to hug me. And then she stepped back. She
Very
literally
sad when you
stepped.
want to and you can't.
But you cannot. Because I said, ma'am, no, 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 no. Because I had to say that, because I was in full PPE kit. I'll show you how we wear, how we are working. I'll show you everything. So it's better to, maintain a distance and avoid touching. Okay. And then, kala bhati, there is a thing called kala bhati. I don't know how many people will be able to do that. Is very difficult to do actually. What you have to do is you have to take in water and then take the water out. This is a very difficult exercise actually.
Yeah, it sounds very difficult.
Sounds
very
very
difficult, complicated.
It sounds very, but once you are acquainted of doing that, it will clean everything. There is a hospital in Chennai, I forgot the name. The doctors of that hospital are regularly doing this thing, and none of the doctors are effective.
I can show you a simpler way. If you use a small shampoo bottle or something like that, fill up with salt water. It should be lukewarm. Okay, lukewarm with salt, and you press it. That when you press the bottle, the water will forces out. So it will forces out to your nose, and it will let it go from the other one. Because in the US and all that, you buy a machine. You can buy a machine where it pumps it. Because you do not have a pump, so you can use a small bottle, a shampoo bottle. That's what I use. Shampoo bottle. I fill it with a lukewarm water and push it. Then I do not have to you take a long inhale and you hold your breath, and then push the bottle, that the water will go up and it will come out from the other nose.
This is very useful. This is a very useful exercise. I'm saying you, many doctors of Chennai have been using that, and all the doctors have been working in corona wards, in COVID wards, but none of them are affected.
So again, what is it called? You said couple.
Kala bhati exercise. Yeah, that's actually a Ramdev Baba exercise, but many people are using in US, in Chennai, Bombay, in the COVID wards. Doctors are regularly using this. I am using it.
And you can look for neti pot. There's a pot available.
Neti pot.
Yes, it is the neti
small pot.
pot.
It's a small pot. You can put it and then take it out from the other nose.
I will show you. I'll do a demonstration for you, Durba.
Okay, thank you, Milind. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very much enthused, encouraged, much safer after talking to Dr. Shamima.
Okay, I'll just proceed. As I've said earlier, try to stay home. Try to isolate yourself. If you are going, supposedly in your family, you are the one who is going out. You are the one who is going to the shops, to the market. So you have to isolate yourself. You don't require to mix up with your family members. Try to isolate yourself. Stay alone for a period of time. Later on, you will get various occasions to enjoy with the family. Only when they are safe. Am I correct? Only when they are healthy. So try to be isolated from your family members if you are going out. If you are not going out, that is not an issue. The person who is going out should try to isolate themselves. And secondly, supposedly you are going out to buy something also, you should wear gloves, number one. Number two, you should wear proper mask. And even hair, you can cover it with a cap. You can cover it with a head cap. You should cover your hair also. Okay, that's the important point. Then after returning back, take a polythene bag. You just open your, before opening your gloves, open your head cap, and there is a way of opening the gloves. You should open like this. How will I show? Right now, I don't have any gloves. There's a technique of opening and wearing of gloves. Please see that video in the net. It's available. How to wear and how to open gloves. After opening it, just tie the polythene and just dispose it in a safer place.
These are all disposable gloves.
Disposable. Head cap also should be disposable. Gloves also should be disposable. And mask also should be disposable actually. Okay, that's why try once you go out, try to get hold of whatever you require and then come back, so that for 2-3 weeks you don't require to go out. And then wash your hands, not sanitization. Firstly wash your hands, then sanitize, then you go to a bathroom outside your home where it's separate na, the bathroom should be separate, where open your clothes and then try to keep them in warm water where you have kept detergent also, and where you have poured in 5% hydrogen peroxide. 1 cup,
Yes, that's
one
quite a long routine.
one cup
Follow all
of
the step by step.
1 cup of hydrogen peroxide. I forgot one thing again. Your shoes, the shoes which you have taken out now, try to take only 1 or 2 pair of shoes only. Okay, and then those shoes also try to dip them in hydrogen peroxide solution. You cannot use sanitizer every time now, that is very costly. Try to use hydrogen peroxide solution, dip them, and then you can throw the peroxide outside. Okay, so after that you come fresh, and then you can mix up with your family, but still trying to keep yourself 3 feet away.
So distance, isolation, and then the whole sanitization routine that you just
Routine,
explained
yeah,
when you
yeah,
come from outside.
yeah,
When you
yeah,
come inside your home, you've been
yeah,
out, and then how to dispose of everything,
yeah, yeah.
sanitize everything. Anything else?
And
Any last thoughts, Dr. Shamima, that you would like to share? Any
yeah,
last
yeah,
piece of information?
yeah, I'm just covering up. These are the steps actually which we try to use when we put in our PPE kits. These are actually not useful for you all, so you all don't need to go into the deeper thing. I just this is the way we are working. This is me. I'm working like this. This is the
Let
way
me
it's
have a
very.
look. Oh my goodness, unbelievable.
It's very difficult, and
And this
for
is you.
us, this is me myself. This is my clinic. For me it's more difficult, you know why? Because I'm working in the oral cavity, and that is the area where the coronavirus sits, pharynx and the oral cavity. And secondly, I am doing microsurgeries every time. The moment I work, dentists always do microsurgeries. The visibility is very less with this PP kit. I don't see anything. It's very difficult for me to work, but I have no option. I have to
Challenge.
work. I have to
And you
work
have
like
to
this.
wear that whole cumbersome thing for
Yeah.
hours.
For 8 hours, I regularly use it for 8 hours, and then I dispose it and come.
I think
That is what
even
I'm.
saying hats off is too less, for you and for all doctors who are doing this
No,
day in
more
and day
I
out.
should I should say that they are heroes who are working in the corona wards, because 7 days continuously they are working. 7 days they are in isolation. It's very difficult to be away from families for 7 days. It's very difficult. 14 days together, they are away from their families, from their loved ones. It's very difficult. They have no proper food. Whatever they are getting, that only they are having. It's very hats off to them. Really, hats off to them. They are real heroes. Seriously, and
Absolutely. And
thanks
I
to
think
them. And seriously, I'm saying thanks to all the doctors who are working, who are struggling for us. And a request to everybody, please stay indoors, stay protected, and try to lower the load on the doctors. That's all.
that's a wonderful note to end this on, Dr. Shamima, where
So
you have
like
requested everyone to think of the doctors, and really their situation is
worse
probably
than,
the
it's
worst.
actually worse than what we are speaking now. It's worse for them. I don't know how to express. So being a dentist, without a glance to a better smile, I shouldn't end the presentation. So it's just a small glance to what I have been doing for so many days, just a few notes. So this was the case which I have done before. This was before, and this was after the treatment. I hope everybody is getting a proper view to it.
Yes.
This is a second case. This is a third case. This I have built it myself with the help of cement. This is actually this was an accidental case which came to me. This was a cosmetic surgery which I have done. Yeah. So stay safe and protected. I request everybody to stay safe, stay protected, and keep smiling. We
If you
all
have any
would you
problems with
say-
your smile, I think Dr. Shamima will fix your smile too.
Yes. And Dr. Shamima, would you say where, if somebody want to see you, where they connect with you?
Yeah,
Where
they
is
can
your
connect.
clinic?
They can connect with me in Dispur Hospital Private Limited. I work there. My WhatsApp number, I'll try to make it available. Everybody can connect me there. I'm available there, and I have a profile in this thing also. If you write Dr. Shamima in net, there's a website available. You can get back to me anytime you want. Any queries, you can get back to me. Any doubts regarding anything, you all can get back to me. I'm there for everyone. Any doubts? Any questions?
So shall we close? Is there any other question from anybody?
Please feel free and frank to ask any questions.
So someone messaged saying had a lot of questions at the beginning of the session, but by now you've answered all of the doubts.
Okay.
Okay, so I think from Team Anna Jury, we will close this webinar for today. And thank you once again, Dr. Shamima.
I'm sorry, whatever I could, I tried to put forward. Any remaining doubts, anybody can contact me anytime. Thank you.
The wonderfully accessible, always smiling Dr. Shamima, thank you very much from Team Anna Jury.
Thank you for even inviting me to talk, to come forward to talk, to give a chance to talk to everybody. Thank you so much.